Back here at Gillette Stadium, Jeff Howe of The Athletic, Tom E. Curran of NBC Sports Boston. We tackled the AFC already. Let's get into the NFC side of things, a conference that, once again, the Eagles are the odds-on favorite here to represent in the Super Bowl. Can you give me a reason, Tom, that they should not be?
Complacency?
Like a Super Bowl hangover kind of thing?
The reason I can't is because of the solidity and predictability of a running game and a defense. If you have those things, fewer things are cast to the winds of fortune. They can run it, they can bully you, they can rush the passer. Jeff, it should be the Eagles should be a 12-plus win team for the next 3 to 5 seasons.
I really like the Eagles. I like what Sirianni's built. I like the quarterback, Jalen Hurts. I like their whole system, their style, but they have a really tough division. And they've got a ton of talent, but there's been some roster turnover. So can you come back from a Super Bowl loss with some new pieces in that locker room, with as talented of a division as they have, and then get back to where you ultimately want to be? I mean, that's a tough course ahead. And I think, the NFC is not as good as the AFC, but that's still a really good division, and there are still some good teams out there that can knock them off.
All right, so you got the Cowboys, the Giants. Those are two teams, especially two fan bases, that expect excellence year in and year out. Which one do you actually believe can deliver in that department, Tom?
The Cowboys.
Okay.
I think that in a lot of ways, Brian Daboll's season last year was outstanding. He did a great job with the Giants, but I think he wrung more from Daniel Jones than is really there. I don't think Daniel Jones is... And the Giants kind of indicated that by the amount of time it took to re-up him. But I do think that the Cowboys are a team that is more solidly built, soup to nuts, and the expectations are higher. And I don't think that it was smoke and mirrors, or will be smoke and mirrors, to see them play at a higher level. Dak Prescott at some point is going to live up to the vow to not throw picks.
Okay. Now he's looking over his shoulder here with Trey Lance, Jeff.
Don't get me started, although I think you just did. But no, I agree with Tom. The Cowboys are as talented as any team in the NFL. The question mark is what happens with the play calling under Mike McCarthy as opposed to Kellen Moore, and how does that transition impact them? Are there going to be some growing pains? How are they going to handle late and clutch situations? Don't sleep on the Commanders. And that's a team that I've asked around about, who am I missing? And I've heard a lot of Commanders talk. Teams are higher on Sam Howell than I think anybody else is, and that defense has the capability to be really good. I'm not going to sit here and tell you they're going to win 10 or 12 games. I don't even know if they'll get to 8, but I know they're going to be a tough team to play against, and they're much more well-respected within the league than I think in the media.
Nobody's sleeping on the Lions here, because now that Aaron Rodgers is out of the NFC North, the Lions are the favorite to win the division. A sign of the apocalypse here, Tom?
Yeah, the Lions sleeps tonight. I'm sorry. Look, they are obviously offensively a scintillating team to watch. Yeah. They're a fun team because of Dan Campbell and the filtering down of his attitude to the entire team. They're embraceable. But again, I sometimes think, and I'm not saying this, Lions fans, in a derogatory way,
okay,
but there's more swagger and chest puffing sometimes. And again, hangover that I sometimes have from historical observation, there's a Rex Ryan feel to it, where it becomes a little bit less concrete and more fungible. Is that the right word? It can just puff away if things go badly.
I was really impressed with my time in Detroit this summer. And I get why Dan Campbell is able to reach his players the way he is. This goes so far beyond that initial bite them in the kneecaps press conference. He has an ability to relate to his players. The way that they built that roster along with GM Brad Holmes is impressive. And Campbell said something that really stuck out to me. He said, I thought about the guys, my favorite teammates through my playing career, and how could I build an all 53 caliber roster of guys who would want to play with me, I'd want to play with them, and as the way he put it, would be a whole lot more talented than me too, in a self-deprecating way. But you look at that roster and the way that they've drafted the last couple of years, they've had multiple first-round picks because of the Stafford trade. The big question is, can Jared Goff continue to play mistake-free football? Because he's entering the season with 324 consecutive passes without an interception. Wow. If that continues, if he continues to keep the interceptions in the single digits, that's a team that can absolutely reach its potential, because they are really, really talented with their youth.
Is that a misread on my part then? We've covered the Rex Ryan Jets, the Rex Ryan Bills, and we saw how they operated. It was just a swagger that wasn't really backed up by something. Is that a misread?
No, there is a ton of swagger there.
But is it a misread that it isn't based on something concrete?
Maybe.
Okay.
But it's hard to say because this is the first time they've come into a season with expectations like this. So you never know how a team is going to come in when they're supposed to win. I mean, you could point to a half dozen teams around the league this year that are similar to that. They have swagger. They talk a lot of smack at practice. I saw them practice against the Jaguars, and every time a ball hit the ground, you could hear that secondary, all the way in downtown Detroit. So it's a team that is very confident in themselves, and you do wonder, because it's a long season, they are going to have to handle adversity. How do they go through that?
And only one proven quarterback. If you look at the NFC South, I don't know what to expect out of this division now, because Tom Brady is no longer there. It's Derek Carr in New Orleans who is the only proven quarterback. Like, what the hell happens in the NFC South this year, Tom?
I really think it's going to be the year to enjoy Bryce Young. I mean, that will be the main headline coming out of that division, in my estimation, because I think he's going to be outstanding. I love everything about his leadership, his smarts.
Right. Now making the calls there as well on the sideline.
But I think that, we're talking of the 8 divisions. That's like, who is some of the, okay.
Yeah. Nobody
It's
knows.
an overlooked division that's going to send somebody to the playoffs by default.
The winner's probably going to have 9 wins, and maybe 8.
It should be one more than the 8 and 9 Bucks last year with Tom Brady.
I mean, the Panthers are a team that is, trying to come up on the rise. We'll see what their ceiling is. I do like Bryce Young, but he's going to have a really good rookie season in order for them to win the division. Mm-hmm. The Falcons are a team that's caught a lot of people's eye. Their running game, Arthur Smith is a really good coach. Has not had a chance to really show that, I think, on a grand scale, because they've been devoid of talent a little bit. But I know Desmond Ridder was their top graded quarterback going into last year's draft. There is some confidence that he can help them just be a complementary piece to that talented running game.
Hey, just going back real quick to the NFC North, Jordan Love, Justin Fields, which one are you more confident has the better year this year?
I really liked what Justin Fields did last year. I think he's building a foundation for something, but man, Jordan Love has looked good this summer, and the Packers are sort of a dark horse candidate to win that division. I mean, if the Lions stumble in any way at all, I mean, Jordan Love could be the best quarterback in that division this year.
It's funny because I had 2 days when the Patriots were in a joint practice situation with the Packers. The Packers and Jordan Love were A- to straight A on one day, and the next day they got their posteriors handed to them summarily by the Patriots, and Jordan Love didn't have a good day, which is going to happen to a guy who's just ascending. So I think Justin Fields will have the better year than Jordan Love.
Hey, in the NFC West, a lot of folks look at the 49ers as the one team standing in the way of the Eagles making it to back-to-back Super Bowls. Do you agree with that?
Their talent is right there with the Eagles and Cowboys. I don't think there's a wrong answer if you want to rank them 1 through 3. The question is, can they stay healthy for once? And that's a team that just is constantly dealing with the injury bug. If it happens at quarterback, they're in a lot more trouble this year than I think they would have been last year. I think that's pretty obvious. But Seattle is a team that is going to be really dangerous too. Right there with the Lions and Jets, Seattle has drafted extremely well.
2 more first-round picks this year, and we saw what Pete Carroll was able to do with all his young draft picks last season.
Yeah, they're crushing it. It sounds like Geno Smith is having a really good summer. So, I mean, Seattle is a team that the one thing that you got to look at with Seattle, they have a 4-game span around November where they play the 49ers twice and then the Eagles and Cowboys. Mm-hmm. So they have to be really strong getting into there, and they have to make sure that they don't face plant that month.
Yeah, I just think the Niners are so loaded. And the interesting thing to me is, look, Brock Purdy had a very significant elbow injury. He's not a big dude. We see the offensive line woes, Jeff speaking to it just before we started, across the NFL. Almost, what do you think? What would you put the over-under on for starting quarterbacks missing 3 or more games across the NFL? How many? I would bet 16 of them will miss 3 or more games. So that means when Purdy goes down, it'll be Sam Darnold in. I like Sam Darnold. I don't think he's inept.
Yeah, I mean, they like him more than Trey Lance.
They have a great fallback plan there. I think that team, along with the Eagles, as you pointed out, are the class of it. But again, it's like we spoke about yesterday with the Chargers. It's a team that I look at sometimes and say there always seems to be some kind of barrier there.
Real quick here, Cardinals 0-17 this season.
It's not going to be that bad because they're a tough team to play against.
Okay.
I thought that they were a team that had a sneaky chance to win maybe 5 games.
I don't know,
because I
man.
think, but all the moves in roster cut week,
Yeah.
and knowing that Kyler Murray is in fact going to miss at least 4 games, that's a team that is in danger of going about 2-15.
And I would say Caleb Williams is absolutely positively a
Oh,
player
yeah.
who you would do that for. I mean, he's Andrew Luckian and Justin Fieldsian.
All right, Jeff Howe of The Athletic, Tommy Curran of NBC Sports Boston. You two are excellent.